Hi all. This is a video about putting graphs into your lab reports and making those graphs on Google Sheets. So right now I have a document. Let's say this is your lab report. You've been writing it. There's stuff over here, and then more things, as it says. And then maybe you have some results, right? Like maybe this is an experiment about, how many dogs there were in the park on given days because my dog gets a little bit scared of other dogs. And I have my results, but I need a graph, right? This is a lab report and I have quantitative data, so I'm going to graph that. So I go to Sheets, and so you can make one of those by going to New Google Sheets. So I have a sheet and I put data in here, right? I gave this column a title and I have days of the week, right? On which I took my data. And then I have the number of dogs that I saw when I went out. Maybe I always went out at the same time. That would make this a really good experiment, right? So once I have the data that I want to graph, now this has to be like ready to graph. If you're going to take the average, then you should have already averaged those before putting that in here. So when I'm ready, I'm going to select the data that I want to graph, including the titles, and then I can go to Insert Chart. So when I insert chart, Google Sheets already knows that I'm going to want a bar graph and that's the most appropriate graph for this. Now, if I do want something else, like technically a pie chart could work in this case where like most of the dogs were there, though pie chart isn't the best option for this particular data because it represents like out of a whole where like there's maybe some maximum number of dogs that could possibly be there, which there isn't really. So a bar graph is definitely the way to go. And I press insert. So now this chart is in my spreadsheets document here. They already gave it a title. If you wanted to change that title, you can feel free. In this case, I do not need a legend. So I can two finger click because I'm a Mac user, or right click if I was a PC and clear the legend. It already made, because I included the titles of my columns here of what I want those to be, it put number of dogs and day. If I wanted that to say day of the week, it might not update here, but I can update it here. Day of the week. Cool. The other really nice thing about Google Sheets is I'm like, oh, maybe actually, you know what? I thought it was 22, but actually it was 21. The Google Sheet updates itself automatically, the chart. So that's pretty neat as well. Okay, so now I have this chart. It looks exactly as I want it to look. So I want to make sure it has all my axes labeled. It has my data that I want. It's in the format that I want. All of this is here. I can't really easily copy and paste it over to the document. So I go into my document, I put my cursor where I want my graph. So I have my cursor where I want my graph. And then I go to Insert Chart. And I can make a column graph. However, it says From Sheets. And it will pull up a list of my spreadsheets. And in this case, I can choose the one that I want. And it shows me all the graphs in that sheet. And right now there's only this graph. And so I can click the graph that I want, import, and there it is. And so that's how you make a graph on Google Sheets and then import it into a document. So I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good day.